Folks, I just had to get this story to you as soon as possible. We have some major breaking news. The Trump administration is in yet another scandal after they admitted in a late night court filing that they accidentally deported a man to a prison in El Salvador. This man had a protected status in the United States, and the Trump administration is saying that, quote, an administrative error led to his deportation to El Salvador. This story is crazy. The Trump administration is now in hot water. They filed it late at night, hoping that you wouldn't pay attention to it, but we're talking about it here, exposing the lies of the Trump administration. So this is an article from The Atlantic. The headline reads, an administrative error sends a Maryland father to a Salvadorian prison. Now, just check this out. It's crazy. The Trump administration acknowledged in a court filing Monday that it had grabbed a Maryland father with protected legal status and mistakenly deported him to El Salvador, but said the U.S. courts lack jurisdiction to order his return from the mega prison where he's now locked up. So the Trump administration deported this guy, and now they're saying that, yeah, we actually can't do anything to bring him back. That's their claim in court. The case appears to be the first time the Trump administration has admitted to errors when it sent 3 plane loads of Salvadoran and Venezuelan deportees to El Salvador's grim terrorism confinement center on March 15th. Attorney for several Venezuelan deportees have said that the Trump administration falsely labeled their clients as gang members because of their tattoos. And we know this to be the case because here's some other reporting from Mother Jones and journalist Aaron Melnick. Mother Jones was reporting that one of the men rendition to El Salvador is Neri Alvarado, as you can see in this picture down below, who was working in Dallas as a baker. An ICE agent told him they were questioning all men with tattoos. Now, one of the tattoos they thought was suspicious was the one you can see on your screen right here. But in reality, it's not suspicious. It's not a gang tattoo. It's an autism awareness tattoo with his brother's name on it because he has an autistic brother. Yeah, this is the person, one of the many people that Donald Trump and his administration has deported to a random prison in El Salvador without due process simply because of his tattoos. Now let's continue with this story. It's crazy. But in Monday's court filing, attorneys for the government admitted that the Salvadorian man, Kimar Abrego Garcia, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was deported accidentally, saying, quote, although ICE was aware of his protection from removal to El Salvador, Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error, the government told the court. Trump lawyers said the court has no ability to bring him back now that he is in El Salvador custody. His attorney said he's never seen a case in which the government knowingly deported someone who had already received protected legal status from an immigration judge. He's asking the court to order the Trump administration to order his return and, if necessary, to withhold payments to the Salvadorian government, which says it's charging the United States $6 million a year to jail U.S. deportees. Just think about this right now. The Trump administration knowingly deported someone with protected status. We have never seen this before in modern American history. I mean, you talk about wanting to be a dictator. You talk about fascistic tendencies that Donald Trump has. Look at this. They're just making people disappear. They're grabbing them off the street saying, you know what? I think you might be someone I want to get out of the country, so you're gone. And even if you have protected status, even if you've gone through the right procedures, you went to court, you had a judge say, you know what? You have a protected status. Doesn't matter to us. You're gone. And then when you are gone and we realize it's an error, we won't bring you back because apparently they don't have jurisdiction. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Trump administration attorneys told the court to dismiss the request to bring him back on multiple grounds, including that Trump's primacy in foreign affairs outweighs the interests of him and his family. That's really what they're claiming. Quote, they claim that the court is powerless to order any relief. If that's true, the immigration laws are meaningless, all of them, because the government can deport whoever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want, and no court can do anything about it, said the attorney. And he's absolutely right. If the Trump administration says, yeah, we already put him in another country, we can't do anything about it, then all laws are just totally meaningless, which perhaps is the goal of the Trump administration. Court filings show that this man came to the United States at age 16 in 2011 after fleeing gang threats in his native El Salvador. In 2019, he received a form of protected legal status known as, quote, withholding of removal from a U.S. immigration judge who found he would likely be targeted by gangs if deported back. Once again, think about that for a second. He has a protected status in the United States. And if he were sent back to El Salvador, he would very likely, according to a judge, be targeted by gangs. The Trump administration knew this and they said, no, we're going to send it back anyway. and now he is likely to be targeted by gangs. An innocent man who hasn't done anything now is back in a place where the courts, the judges have already declared that he's likely to be targeted. And here's a really sickening aspect of this. Abrego Garcia, who is married to a U.S. citizen and has a 5-year-old disabled child who is also a U.S. citizen, has no criminal record in the United States, according to his attorney. The Trump administration does not claim he has a criminal record, but called him, quote, a danger to the community and an active member of MS-13, the Salvadorian gang that Trump has declared a foreign terrorist organization. His wife is an American citizen. He has a disabled child who's an American citizen. And Donald Trump just picked him up and deported him. Insane. Now, of course, this label of a gang member of MS-13 is completely false. His attorney said that those charges are false and that the gang label stems from a 2019 incident where he and 3 other men were detained in a Home Depot parking lot by a police detective in Prince George's County, Maryland. During questioning, one of the men told officers that Abrego Garcia was a gang member, but the man offered no proof, and police said they didn't believe him, filing show. Police did not identify him as a gang member, and of course, he was not charged with a crime. And so this protected status that he has once he went to a judge, the withholding of removal, is not a path to permanent U.S. residency, but it means the government won't deport him back to his home country because he's more likely than not to face harm there. Abrego Garcia has had no contact with any law enforcement agency since his release, according to his attorney. He works full-time as a union sheet metal apprentice, has complied with requirements to check in annually with ICE, and cares for his 5-year-old son who has autism and a hearing defect and is unable to communicate verbally. So also think, that's the broader implication here. Not only is this man's rights being violated, his right to due process that we have here in the United States that applies to all, but think about his child. Think about his child who has autism and is unable to communicate verbally. His dad just got picked off the street and is now sitting in prison in a different country where he's likely to be targeted by gangs. That's a Trump administration. It's insane. On March 12th, Abrego Garcia had picked up his son after work from the boy's grandmother's house when ICE officers stopped the car, saying his protected status had changed. Just randomly, officers waited for his wife to come to the scene and take care of the boy, then drive him away in handcuffs. Within 2 days, he'd been transferred to an ICE staging facility in Texas, along with other detainees the government was preparing to send to El Salvador. Trump had invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, and the government planned to deport 2 plane loads of Venezuelans, along with a separate group of El Salvadorians. And his family has had no contact with him since he was sent to the prison. So again, no contact with his individual. No contact with the individual. His family doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where his family is. No contact. And Bukele, the leader of El Salvador, someone who's openly claimed that he's a dictator of the country, responded to this controversy by saying, oopsie. They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke that a man was just picked up off the street and the Trump administration deported him knowing that he had a protected status here in the United States. They think that this is a joke. That's the Trump administration. I just had to bring you this story because this is now the biggest conflict, the biggest controversy right now for the Trump administration, that they accidentally deported someone knowing that he's likely to be targeted by gangs and knowing that he has an American citizen wife and American citizen child who has autism and unable to communicate verbally. The cruelty is the point. The cruelty is the point. The humiliation is the point with the Trump administration. That's how they roll. That's how they do things. So anyway, look, I had to bring this story to you because it's just so sickening. So please share this story, spread the news with your friends, family, and loved ones. This needs to be seen by every single American, and I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything going on in politics. Also, make sure to drop a like and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this story and about the Trump administration. And look, we got to keep fighting, and we'll talk soon, okay?